Hello! It's still the week after Mother's Day, so we're doing more wonderful mom stories. And tonight is a story from a collection of stories called the Usborne Farmyard Tales. These are great British books, and Mrs. Boot the farmer is an awesome mom. And tonight we have a very fun sheep who's with us, and this is real sheep's wool from Scotland. A sheep in Scotland got a haircut, and this is the wool that came off. It's very, very soft. Levi likes to play with it a lot. But wanted to share you this great story about a sheep at the farmyard. It's called Woolly Stops the Train. Woolly the sheep is a rascally sheep on the farm. This is Apple Tree Farm. This is Mrs. Boot, the farmer. She has 2 children called Poppy and Sam, and a dog called Rusty. This is Ted. He drives the tractor and helps Mrs. Boot on the farm. He waves and shouts to Mrs. Boot. "What's the matter, Ted?" asks Mrs. Boot. "The train is in trouble. I think it's stuck. I can hear it whistling and whistling," says Ted. "We'll go and take a look. Poppy and Sam can come too," says Mrs. Boot. "And Rusty," says Sam. They walk across the fields. Soon they come to the train track. They can just see the old steam train. It has stopped, but is still puffing and whistling. Choo-choo! Can you make a train sound? Choo-choo! Good job. Look at those sheep. They are on the track, says Poppy. That's why the train has stopped. Silly sheep, says Sam. Silly sheep. Oh, it's that naughty Woolly. She's escaped from her field again, said Poppy. She wanted to see the steam train, says Sam. We must move them. You can help me, says Mrs. Boot. Come on, Rusty, says Sam. They walk up to the sheep. How can we get them home? We can't get them up the bank, says Ted. We'll put them on the train, says Mrs. Boot. Come on, Woolly. They drive the sheep down the track to the train. Woolly runs away, but Rusty chases her back. Good job, Rusty. We'll lift them up. Please help me, Ted, says Mrs. Boot. Ted and Mrs. Boot lift the sheep up into the carriage. All aboard! Poppy, Sam, Mrs. Boot, Ted, and Rusty climb up into the carriage. Mrs. Boot waves to the driver. The train puffs along. Choo-choo! It stops at the station. Mrs. Boot opens the door. Poppy and Sam jump down onto the platform. How many passengers? Says the guard. 6 sheep, 1 dog, and 4 people, says Mrs. Boot. That's all. Let's all go home now, says Mrs. Boot. They take the sheep back to the farm. I think Woolly just wanted a ride on the train, says Sam. What a silly, silly sheep. We're so glad for great moms who take care of all of us. Thanks. Have a good day.